everyone. I'm Melanie Gall. I'm a music historian, an editor, a performer, and a writer. My book, Deanna Durbin, Judy Garland, and the Golden Age of Hollywood, the first ever biography of 1930s movie star Deanna Durbin, is being released this July 2022 by Lions Press. And I'm here to tell you 5 things you need to be a successful author or writer. Number 1, understand your genre. Every writer needs the skills and the tools to serve their genre. For example, if you're writing a science fiction book, a fantasy epic, a dystopic or apocalyptic novel, you need to be able to set up a world with various rules, and your narrative needs to adhere to all of those rules. They need to be clear to you, they need to be clear to the reader. There's memoir, where the writer needs to look beyond their potentially still raw emotions to be able to present a story that's both relatable and marketable. Mysteries need to be mysterious. Erotica needs to be scintillating. Whatever you're writing, you need to be able to successfully understand your genre, and there are various ways to do this. Research the genre. Read as many books as you can, both good and bad, in the genre. Understand the conventions, understand what's original, understand what's trite, and understand the rules of the genre, and you can break them or not break them later. It's up to you, but it is incredibly important to understand them. Learn which tools you already have and which tools you need to gain to create the best book possible. Number 2, write in a consistent, readable voice. When you write a book, it's not just about coming up with a compelling story. It's also about communicating that story in a way that will grab and will keep the reader's attention. And having a consistent narrative is one of the best ways you can do this. Make sure that the dialogue sounds natural, with the contractions that appear naturally in speech. People don't generally say, "I do not want to go to the store." They say, "I don't." There are exceptions to this, of course, but make sure that the exceptions match the characterization. Too many small words in a paragraph, it and but, the, becomes overly messy. Too many long words, and the reader's eye tends to skim past it to the next paragraph. Try for a good sentence balance, short, medium, long sentences in a paragraph, and also try not to repeat words, especially unusual words, too often, because they will stand out to the reader and not necessarily in a good way. And that brings me to vocabulary. Look, we know you're smart. You wrote a book. You don't have to defend your intelligence by putting in as many big words as you can. Peradventure, behoove, milquetoast. Save it for the Scrabble board and put in words that your reader doesn't need a dictionary to understand. Number 3, write for your audience. Now, I edit a lot of memoirs, and this is something that I see quite often. People have experienced a traumatic event, they've moved past it, and now they're writing about this event to interpret their feelings and to hopefully help others who are navigating the same sort of thing. However, and I cannot stress this enough, although writing can be therapeutic, writing a novel with the intent to sell it and market it to a larger audience is not your therapy. Write in a journal, write in a diary, write in a blog online, write anywhere you want. But when you're writing a novel, your writing needs to serve the audience. There needs to be enough distance and clarity and objectivity for what you write to appeal to a reader who doesn't personally know or care about you. And to do this, you need to think of your audience. So in everything you write, yes, write for yourself, but also think about the audience. Think about what will appeal, what will sell to that audience. When an author writes for themselves, well, the story is easy to put down. But when an author writes with their audience in mind, well, that's the sort of book you stay up reading all night long. Number 4, know the rules before you break them. Learn basic editing skills. Have a good foundation in grammar. Learn to spell. And yes, there are programs that will help with all of that. But you still need to have the ability and the skills to proofread your own work. Know the spelling and the punctuation for the target region of your work. By that I mean, in America, things are often spelled differently than Britain, than Canada. And it's the same with punctuation. Do you use single quotes for dialogue? Do you use double quotes for dialogue? Where do you put the period, inside or outside of the quotation mark? It changes depending on the region and depending on the style in which you've chosen to write. There are several styles. AP and Chicago Manual of Style are the 2 that are used the most. If you're writing a novel, you want it to be Chicago Manual of Style. If you've never heard of that, it's all over the internet. Look it up, learn the rules, Yes, an editor can do all that for you later, but there is so much competition out there when you're selling a manuscript or selling anything you've written that the most polished, the best text that you can present gives you the best chance of success in your writing. If you choose to break the rules for stylistic intent, that's fine, but be very clear on what they are before you choose to break them. And then when you do break them, it will be a clear artistic choice and not something that you just did because you didn't know any better. Number 5, accept feedback. This can be a really hard one because nobody likes criticism. But this can also be one of the most important things for an aspiring writer who wants to achieve success. But also, you have to ask the right person. If you ask your spouse, your sibling, your parents, your friends, they're supposed to tell you that your writing is wonderful and you're the best thing, the best literary thing they've seen since sliced bread. But that doesn't necessarily serve the ends that you're trying to achieve. So, where do you go for feedback? Well, you can hire an editor, you can hire a beta reader, and a beta reader tends to read through your text, answer various questions, and give you a general idea about things that need to be fixed or improved. Another option is to hire a developmental editor, and they help you shape and polish your piece in a completely different way, in a much more detailed manner. Then there are writers' groups online where writers critique and suggest things to each other. And there are literary conferences where there are writing workshops, and also it's a wonderful chance to become involved in the writing community, to meet agents, to meet editors, and to get a good idea about what people are looking for and what's out there. Feedback can be important. Feedback from other people can be important. But to be honest, sometimes the best feedback you can get is from yourself. So take your book, take your manuscript, take that speech you're writing, take whatever it is you're writing, put it away, let it breathe for a week, for a month, for 4 months. And when you come back again and you pick it up, you'll be stunned at how suddenly you can look at this in an objective manner. And it really does give you some clarity about what your book needs and what it doesn't need. Sometimes a manuscript just needs a chance to breathe. Well, thank you, everybody. Again, I'm Melanie Gall, and I hope these tips will help you in your writing, and I wish you all the best of success.